Happy holidays, everybody! Today we're going to talk about Bubsy, his claws, and curl. They're of the third kind. Well, I'm finally talking about it. I'm finally talking about the very first Bubsy game. The madness that started it all since 1993. And that annoying catchphrase of his. Excuse me. Yeah, I had a brisk raspberry soda. Anyways, it's been a long time since I talked about Bubsy. Twice. We'll always strike back. You know, I used to like Bubsy when I was a kid when I first played the game. And Bubsy is a very special character. He's been around since 1993. And people won't stop doing fan arts of this character. Anyways, the story is plain and simple. Oh, I do have this game, and I did play it before, and there was a manual. Where it's up to Bubsy to collect all the yarn balls from the evil aliens called the Woolies. Worst freaking name I ever heard. But then again, this game came out in the 90s, so I should not complain too much. So last time I talked about Bubsy. This is all you do, is collect yarn balls. Get it? Because he's a cat. Anyways, you get high scores and have a time limit and extra lives. And then you end up in a bonus stage collecting enough yarn balls. Not to mention the music's actually pretty good. Which is the only good part of this game. But like in most video game characters, Bubsy takes one hit, he dies. They probably got the same idea from Jumpman from Donkey Kong Arcade. Not to mention this game is kind of like both Sonic and Mario. And once he beats a stage, he does exactly like Sonic does. A victory dance. And yeah, you'll be hearing his voice. Because every time you beat a stage, and in the next stage he'll say something really, really dumb. Well, give the game credit, he does a pretty cool t-shirt. There's just not much else to talk about this game. You know, it's just those classical platforming games. This game's already been reviewed by lots of people online. There's like billions of people on YouTube already talked about this game to death already. I mean, if you jump too far, you'll die. And you have to press the grind button, and somehow Bubsy can actually glide in mid-air. Not to mention you'll fight most bosses, which are pretty easy if you glide on them in a perfectly good moment. They'll be finished in less than a couple of seconds, and you get a black t-shirt, or to make you go invisible for a little bit. Not to mention there's like several other stages and pretty simple enemies you can jump on. There's like a seagull, the woolies, those flying UFOs. And I kid you not, of phoning ice cream and hot dogs attack you in this carnival level. And not to mention going through doorways that will randomly take you some random places you don't want to go and get unlimited lives. But trust me, when I played this game before on both Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, it was almost impossible not knowing where you're supposed to go. You're never going to know what's going to hit you right in front of you. And Bubsy goes way too fast, and you don't have time to react on what's going to hit you right in front of your face. It just makes the game a little bit hard to do. But watch out for the giraffes sticking out their necks and spikes. Also, not to mention, Bubsy does die in most funny ways. If he falls into a spike, he'll deflate like a balloon. Also, not to mention, they'll throw cheese at you and Bubsy gets sliced in half. Okay, I'm pretty sure in real life, no cheese can actually do that in real life. You'll just get hurt and you will not get cut in half. Anyways, you're in a western stage and they're fighting groundhogs with guns. Okay. I almost forgot to mention that most of these enemies are pretty weird. In a Bubsy game, yes. The Warriors are kind of like Goombas from Super Mario Brothers. They always like wear different hats and use different weapons. All that kind of cliches. Not to mention this game gets even harder and harder to do. Try to get past, not dying in one hit. I would say I do not hate this game, but it's just really, really hard. Believe it or not, I actually like this game. Yeah, you actually heard me correctly. I actually like this game. Unlike the sequel and the other ones, like the Atari Jaguar, they're pretty bad. And Bubsy 3D? Oh. Don't get me started on that one. That game sucks. That's like a few hours of my life I won't get back, which I'll get to pretty soon. But anyhow, if Bubsy falls into the water, he starts saying, okay, not that. As I was saying, he starts being happy about it. But anyways, these levels are almost hard to get through without taking a single hit by these enemies. But anyways, the final level is obviously outer space, where you finally face the woolly leader, queen or king, whatever. I had problems trying to get to the very end without taking a hit. The final boss is kind of impossible. You have to grind on the final boss perfectly, or you'll die. So, I usually use cheat codes to get to the very end, which I did. Anyways, here's the final boss. You have to watch out for the bananas and bouncy balls and other dangerous things. And that's it. If you defeat the final boss, and what you get for all that and collecting all the yarn balls, Bubsy gets his own limo. And yeah, that's how the game ends. The game's ending is very disappointing. But believe it or not, I actually like this game. Yeah, you actually heard me correctly. I actually like this game. Believe me, it's the only good Bubsy game for the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. And not to mention, I almost forgot about the cartoon, which kinda sucks, and yet YouTube gets it lots of views. Huh. So yeah, believe it or not, I actually like this first one better than 2, Atari Jaguar, and most likely that terrible 3D game for the PlayStation 1. And the Woolly Strike Back, which last time I reviewed it, was not the worst one, but on the okay side. And guess what? They bring him back into another game, Toss on Fire, which, believe me, I'll get to pretty soon as well, once I'm done talking about almost all the Bubsy games out there. Ooh, yeah. I'm in for it now. I'm going to talk about almost all the Bubsy games, including the 3D one. Boy, am I in deep trouble for this. So, Bubsy and Cross Encounters of the Third Kind is actually one of my favorite games. So to its credit, it's not the worst game out there. It's on the okay side of the other platforming games I did before. So I'll give this game a break, and being below average of a game, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. At least they tried their best to make this game interesting. Besides, I like the music. Because both of this game on the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo plays basically the same. The Sega Genesis sounds way better. So, good point. Credits go to the Sega Genesis. That's all I can say for now. So, happy holidays to you all. Oh, folks, I'll probably talk about the other Bubsy games in the near future. See you then. If you like, subscribe, or share. See you all in the next video. Bye.